Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of my Pokemon Battle Series, The School of Hard Knocks. So throughout this episode, like every other, we'll be jumping on to the Pokemon Global Link Battle Spot ladder, playing under the Championship Battle rules, which are this season's equivalent to the VGC 2017 season. And we can breathe. So I need a breath after yesterday's episode. It was just insane. Those two games were just crazy. We got the freeze in the first game with the Ninetales on the Goodra, and that kind of made the match a little easier, but that was nothing compared to the next game where we played the Araquanid, Porygon 2, Arcanine and Scarf Tapu Lele team, which was insane. So we managed to kind of... My opponent got the Trick Room up with the Porygon 2, and the Araquanid was sitting on the field there. 5 turns of Trick Room to go, so we kind of managed to stall at that somehow. And then, crazy things happened. The Porygon 2 got a double protect off, my Ninetales got a double protect off, and we managed to kind of get through it and win with our Ninetales one-on-one with the Porygon 2. If you guys, any of you out there, haven't seen yesterday's episode, it was the most hype episode I've had on the channel. I'm still kind of trying to forget about it now. I don't want to forget about it. It was so good. You need to go and watch it. So guys, definitely before you watch this episode, go back, watch that, and then come watch this one. So we'll, as we have been playing this week, we'll continue on. Today, playing with Ben Kyriakou's London International Championship team. So I'm having a super fun time playing it this week. I really hope that you guys are enjoying it. So if you are enjoying it, if you've got any questions about the team at all, just let me know in the comment section below. It's great to hear from you guys as much as possible. So we'll jump onto the ladder with the team, hopefully find an opponent pretty quickly, and get some games going for you guys. Yesterday's episodes went on a little bit. They were a bit longer than usual, but I think totally worthwhile. So we'll just click in regular Island Kahuna music, and then we'll just sit back and relax and wait for our opponent to come to us. So we're not sitting on too bad a rating as well at the minute, and the bell rings. We have a first opponent from the US, Sophie, and they are running a team of Kartana, Tapu Fini, Porygon Z, Arcanine, Gastrodon and Alolan Muck. So this is a QR code team. As you can see from the very top right hand corner, there is a little QR code next to the team. So this looks a lot like Mr. Sejun Park's Tapu Fini team that he used very early in the season. So need to be very careful, because we do know that Porygon Z is going to be choice scarfed and is going to be able to kind of throw some big nukes around straight off the bat. Kartana, I think, is Assault Vest, thinking back if I can remember right. The Tapu Fini is Choice Specs, and the rest of the team kind of escapes me slightly. So, how are we going to lead up against this? I do feel like Hariyama is going to be very good here. So I do want to lead off with Hariyama. Milotic would be good, but I imagine the Gastrodon to come. If that Arcanine is going to come out, the Gastrodon is probably going to come out. So we need to be very careful of that. So maybe it's worth... I don't know. I definitely want the Marowak. I think... let's think. We'll run out of time. And I'm going to bring the Oranguru in my last slot. So we're not going to bring the Milotic, and we're not going to bring Ninetales. So we're kind of heavily relying on the Marowak to get rid of things like the Arcanine here. But we know what we've got, we know what we've chosen, and we can only go with what we've got, and then reflect back on it later. We are sitting on 6-0 at the minute with the team, so we're doing pretty well. So let's not have any tilts right this minute. So we lead off with the Hariyama and the Kartana. We see the Gastrodon and the Tapu Fini come out, so that's great for us. Now what I'd imagine my opponent to do is to withdraw that Gastrodon into the Arcanine and probably go for a Muddy Water. So we've got a few options here, because I don't think that Gastrodon is going to stay in. It's so threatened by the Kartana here. So we can fake out the Tapu Fini and double into that, knowing that it can't protect. which might be nice. We could also go for a knockoff into the Gastrodon slot. But I think what I'm going to do is just go for a fake out into the Tapu Fini, and I'm going to go for a Leaf Blade into that slot as well. Knowing that the Tapu Fini can't protect, really, it is Choice-Scarf. So we do see the Gastrodon just go for a protect here. And we are going to get the fake out onto the Tapu Fini and a free Leaf Blade as well, which should pick up the KO here. Yeah, so nice easy lead there. We do get the critical hit, which may have mattered depending on, well, I don't know. I think we probably may have picked the K up anyway. So get the Beast Boost, that's the most important thing here. And we're sitting pretty happy going into this next turn. So that gives us a massive lead. And the Arcanine does come in here. But what we've got to remember is that we do have the Groundium Z. So we can Tectonic Rage this Arcanine if we want with a Hariyama, which is a pretty nice option here. Because we can't protect with our Kartana. That's the one problem we've got. So I could go for a knockoff into the Gastrodon, because I imagine the Arcanine is definitely going to attack into my Kartana. So I think I might go for, let's think. Let's go for the knockoff into the Gastrodon and switch out our Kartana into Marowak. Yeah, we'll switch into the Marowak. Because I'm not sure what item this Gastrodon has on it. I can't really remember many of the details from the Decision team. So we see the Arcanine does go for the Flare Blitz into the Marowak slot. So we are going to be able to take that better than what the Kartana would. The Gastrodon went for a Protect, but it did fail. So we do get the knockoff into that Gastrodon. Let's see what item it's got. Let's remind ourselves. So it is a Citrus Berry, so we do get rid of that. I think the Arcanine probably has the I'm sure it has the Fire Z, so it's got the Inferno Overdrive. So I am just going to take this opportunity to go for a Tectonic Rage into the Arcanine. I don't imagine it to actually KO because we are -1, and I am just going to protect my Marowak from any potential Scalds coming out into that slot. Oh, the Arcanine does protect. Okay, so it's not ideal for us, but we will get some damage off onto it with the Tectonic Rage through that protect. It's not going to be as much as it was prior to this. Which is a bit of a shame, but it's one of those things, like, you do know the team at the time, like the Seijan team. I totally knew it earlier in the format, knew all the ins and outs of it, but as times went on, it's not really been played very much. I can't remember too many details of it. So do get the Tech Rage into the Arcanine, do very minimal damage, and we just see a Skull come out onto that Marowak slot. So I think I could potentially double up into the Arcanine slot here, knowing that it's not going to protect here. And I think I'm just going to do that. So if I can I'm just going to Shadow Bone and Close Combat. That should be enough to take out the Arcanine. Yeah, we just see the Gastrodon protect here, which is fine by me. It means Marowak kind of going to stick around a bit longer. And we are going to see that Inferno Overdrive into probably the Hariyama slot. But there's every chance that we could survive that, because the Hariyama is incredibly bulky. It's a very defensively built Pokemon, so there's every chance that we'll get through this and be able to get that Close Combat off. So yeah, Inferno Overdrive into the Hariyama, and let's see what the damage is like. Yeah, but Hariyama easy able to take that. As I forget, we have the Thick Fat ability, so we are actually able to take that a lot easier than we probably would have with any of the other abilities. So coming in very handy there. And we get the Shadow Bone, which means the Arcanine's going to go down, and now Kartana can come back in and really just start and do some work. So, and the Muck is the last Pokemon. So we've got a Rangaroo, and we have Kartana as our last two. Let's think how we need to be able to deal with this muck. I think I'm just going to go for a close combat and a Shadowbone into the Gastrodon. That should be enough to take the Gastrodon out. And we should be outspeeding with both our Pokemon here. So the Muck just goes for the Protect. And we are going to get 2 attacks straight into the Gastrodon, which is probably not actually going to be enough. It will depend on the damage. This Gastrodon looks very defensively built. And no surprise there, coming from Station Park. But Marowak does have enough with that thick club and the Shadowbone to pick up the KO there. So sitting pretty nice at the minute. Hariyama is a bit threatened because it has taken 2 drops from the... I think what I'm going to do from the close combat, I'm going to knock off the berry, potential berry on this Muck, and I'm just going to protect my Marowak here. I imagine the Muck will probably target into the Marowak rather than the Hariyama, so if we can get rid of the berry, then, you know, this next turn we're going to be able to get a close combat off, and maybe a Bone Meringue as well, but we'll see. So we knock off the Figgy Berry, Muck goes for a knockoff into the Marowak like we thought, and we should be able to just close this game out now. So we'll go for the close combat into the Muck and go for a Bone Meringue, and we should be able to close things out from here, so this should be fine. Get the close combat off. It's not going to be doing too much damage, but doing enough. And the Muck goes for the knockoff into the Marowak. We'll pick up the KO. But now we're free to bring in our Kartana and just double into the Muck. And we should be able to close the game out quite easily now. So I think the big turning point in the game was kind of just getting rid of that Tapu Fini turn 1, and then just once the Arcanine's gone, like I said at the time, Kartana can come in and just easily kind of clean up after that, because that's the big threat to the Kartana. Once the Arcanine's gone, like in most situations, Kartana has kind of free reign on the battlefield, and it's a very similar Pokemon to how Celesteela would operate as well. We're just going to get the Sacred Sword off into the Muck, yeah, and that's definitely putting it into the close combat range. So big Hariyama closing the game 1 out for us today and taking us to 7-0 on the record scale. So very good games to my opponent there, and we'll move on to our next game. So hopefully it doesn't take too long for us to click through and find our next opponent, and we can kind of get there super quick. But yeah, still enjoying this team. It's very good, and like, it's weird because these teams, like the Sejun team there, was made very early on in the metagame, and like Ben made this team very early on in the metagame, so it's still nice to see that it can operate extremely well, and you know, with some good success still at this late point in the metagame. And it has been tweaked since that original team concept has come out, but Ben can go on that into those details tomorrow when he joins us on the channel, so that'll be super interesting, and just to get his kind of take on how the team's kind of evolved over time as the metagame shifted as well, and what he thinks of it now compared to what he did then, and things that have kind of popped up in the metagame that may be problematic and stuff like that. So it'll be super interesting, so make sure you do catch that episode, guys. But focusing back on the problem at hand, we have our next opponent, and they are running a team of Weavile, Garchomp, Delmise, Tapu Koko, Porygon 2 and Nihilego. So, quite an interesting concept team, because you've got things in here like the Weavile that you don't really generally see very often in this format, and the Delmise as well, and the Nihilego is going to be a bit of a problem. But I still really like Hariyama here. Hariyama puts a lot of pressure on a lot of my opponent's team. We just got to be very careful for the Tapu Koko if it's got the Dazzling Gleam. But that's about it, really. Hariyama, if we can protect it well, it's going to do a very good job. So I think I will lead Hariyama. And should I lead a Rangaroo as well? I might bring a Rangaroo to this game, because I feel like a Rangaroo would be very good here. I am going to bring Marowak, because if we can get the Trick Room up, it's going to put us in a very nice position. And I think we'll round things off with Kartana, because Kartana does very well against a lot of my opponent's team. does well against the Garchomp, the Weavile, Tapu Koko, Dhelmise. We've got Night Slash, so it's hitting that hard. It's got Sacred Sword for the P2. So yeah, it makes sense to bring it in this game. So we'll see what happens. We are going to lead off with the big lead, the big boys, the Hariyama and the Oranguru. And we'll see my opponent lead off with his little Weavile, swift little ninja, and the Dhelmise as well. So we can go for a Trick Room here, but it will depend on how slow that Dhelmise and how it's built. And I would imagine from my opponent having the Porygon 2 on the team, it's probably built quite slowly. So I think what I'm going to do here, because I can't fake out into it, I'm going to go for a knockoff into it, and let's think. I can't really do anything to... I'm just going to go for a Psychic into the Dhelmise as well. So we see the fake out from the Weavile into the Hariyama, which is fine. We get the Psychic off. So we'll do a bit of chip damage to this Dhelmise, not too much. And we see an Anchor Shot. And it is into the Oranguru. Okay. So we can no longer escape. So we do have that knockoff that we can take advantage of this next turn. But you've got to remember that this Weavile will probably be doing a decent amount of damage as well, with potential dog type attacks into the Oranguru. So I'm going to go for a knockoff with my Hariyama, and I'm going to go for the Trick Room with my Oranguru here. Yeah, I'm going to set the Trick Room up. So we should be able to get the knockoff. So we get to see the Icicle Crash come out from the Weavile. And that would probably be into the Hariyama. Okay, that's fine. With the Thick Fat, we'll be able to take that a lot better. But unfortunately, we do get flinched, which is not ideal. And we do see the Trick Room get set up. So that's nice. Now, we can... Obviously, the Dhelmise there went for a Power Whip into the Hariyama. Thing is, we don't really want to be... I think what I'm going to do is go for a... I'm going to go for a Shattered Psyche into the Dhelmise and a knockoff into it as well. Hopefully we can kind of clear the field of that. So we see the Weavile switch out, which is good news for us. And hopefully we can get a combo off. So, let's see. The Power Whip coming into the Hariyama, I'd imagine. Wow. Doing absolutely huge damage. That is ridiculous. Okay, that hit way harder than what I thought it would. I guess it is Starved Grass. It is quite a powerful base move, isn't it? Wow, did not expect that to take us out though. So, Trick Room definitely turned out to be the wrong attack there, which is not ideal. We are going to get the Shattered Psyche off onto this Dhelmise. This isn't going to kill though. It'll just do a decent amount of damage, and it just recovers a bit more health back with the leftovers there. So what are our options now? It's probably going to have it's probably going to have a ghost type attack, but I feel like I need to bring in the Marowak at this point and go for a Shadow Bone into that slot. So we'll just Shadow Bone into it, into the Dhelmise, and I'm going to go for a... Let's think what I can do. There's no point of instructing, because I can't instruct the Shadow Bone, because it will just... I mean, I could Flare Blitz and instruct, and then at least we're getting some big damage off onto the Porygon 2 as well, but I think I'm just going to go for a Psychic into that slot rather than instruct this turn. So we'll go for the Shadow Bone. Dhelmise actually protects here. So see what this Porygon 2 goes for. Shadow Bone just going into that protect. And we'll get a Psychic off onto the Porygon 2, and it looks like this might be going for a Trick Room. But it is going for a Toxic. Alright, okay. I think now I will just go for the Flare Blitz, because we may see the Delmai switch out into the Weavile here, and if that does happen, then at least we can instruct it, and we're going to probably pick up the KO onto the Weavile if it does switch in. I can't see it switching in, but you never know. And then at least if we get rid of the Delmais, we can get a Flare Blitz off onto the Porygon too, so this is going to be nice. So we do get the Flare Blitz, we are under speed in the Delmais, so we will be able to get rid of it. And then we can get that Instruct onto the Porygon too and do some decent damage onto that as well. But at the moment, things are not looking ideal for us. So we'll probably see that Porygon 2 go for another Toxic. Ah, that does huge damage. So that's actually in range for another Flare Blitz this next turn. But we do see the Trick Room come out from that Porygon 2. And we'll probably see the Weavile come in here. That Porygon 2 is kind of in a situation where it needs to recover, really. So we could protect with Marowak and go for another Trick Room, but that's quite obvious, so that Porygon 2 might actually just go for a Trick Room as well, but I've got a feeling it may just go for a Recover. The other option is we could switch out our Marowak into the Kartana. Which might not be the worst move at all, because then at least if we can kind of use the Rangaroo to get another Trick Room up. So I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to go for a Psychic into that Porygon 2 and just try and keep the pressure on it as much as I can. We do see the Weavile switch out now, Nihilego coming in, so this switch to Kartana is actually really good here, for us anyway. Do switch the Marowak out and get Kartana onto the field, and Porygon 2 just goes for the Recover, yeah, so that makes a lot of sense. And it is outspeeding our Rangaroo. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go for a Sacred Sword, and I'm going to instruct that Sacred Sword onto the P2. Because I imagine the Nihilego would probably protect here. If we can get 2 Sacred Swords, that Porygon 2 should go down. Yeah, so Nihilego is going to protect. We're going to see the Porygon 2 go for the Trick Room. So we get the first Sacred Sword off. It's nice. We just see an Ice Beam from this Porygon 2. So, Kartana is going to be able to take that with the Assault Vest. And we get the Instruct off, so this Sacred Sword will go onto the P2 and we will pick up the KO there. So, that is nice. We do get the Beast Boost as well. So, now we just got to worry about this Weavile, because there is the threat of the Fake Out coming out. Right, but I think what I'm gonna do. See, I don't want to set up the Trick Room with the Rangaroo, switch in the Marowak, because the problem with doing that is if that Nihilego just goes for a Power Gem into the Kartana slot, we're not in a great position at all, so we'll be sitting with Kartana back on the field in a Trick Room, which the Nihilego will be able to underspeed, which is not ideal at all. I think I'm just going to double in to the Nihilego here with a Smart Strike and a Psychic as well. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. So we get the Smart Strike off. Hopefully this picks up the KO. Oh, okay. So we do see Focus Sash. So that Weavile isn't Focus Sashed. Do see Sludge Bomb into the Rangaroo. We should be able to take that. We do get poisoned, which is a bit unfortunate. And Weavile goes for the Icicle Crash onto the Rangaroo, but it misses. So it looks like, and it looked like Kartana is actually outspeeding the Weavile. So we'll be able to actually pick up the win here, which is pretty amazing. So we'll go on to this next turn. And we'll just go for a smart strike. And this turn I'll set up the trick room just in case something bad happens and my opponent just forfeits. So very good game to my opponent there. It seemed again at points in the game there where it could have went really one way or another, but we seemed to manage to kind of pull through. Oranguru putting in a lot of work with the Instruct, and then Kartana again just showing how good it is with the Assault Vest. We said at the start of the game how good the Kartana would be against my opponent's team, and it kind of showed there at the end. And I think we had enough in the tank. Even if Kartana went down, we still had the Trick Room to be able to get set up with the Oranguru and potentially bringing the Marowak, which would have been able to make easy work of what my opponent had left. But regardless of that, it's another win, and we are 8-0 going into tomorrow's episode. So we set this up perfectly, guys, going into tomorrow's episode. And I don't know if you guys know, I don't ever cherry pick my episodes. I literally hit record and I will battle. And there's many videos that you've seen me play throughout the series where I've bombed out and had terrible losses and things have just went haywire and wrong. So it's not like I've picked these games as and when. You can check the rating as we're going as well in the games that we've played throughout this week, just to make sure that I'm not cheating. But I'm not. I just want to make sure that you know. But guys, if you've enjoyed this episode like I have, and I always enjoy you guys being here with me, my little School of Hard Knocks family, please leave a like on the video. It is massively appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already, just to keep up to date with all those video updates when they come out. We're gonna have Ben on the channel tomorrow, so that is super hype. Really can't wait for that. That's going to be an amazing episode for you guys. And then we're going to have that team review episode on Saturday this weekend of the Tapu Fini Marowak Mandibuzz call that we kind of were playing last week with the Muck in there as well. So that'll be super interesting. You guys said you wanted to see it, so I will do that for you for Saturday, and I hope you enjoy it. And then we'll come back next week, and I have a few plans in the bag, so we'll keep things a little under wraps until Monday next week. But we'll be back tomorrow before then with Ben on the channel, and we'll have the team episode, the team review episode on Saturday. But guys, go away and enjoy the rest of your night. As always, thank you so much for coming and watching the video. Like, your support is amazing. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I love doing this, and I love that you guys are coming and watching. So if you've got any comments, questions, or anything like that, leave them in the comment section below. Leave a like on the channel, all that shebang, shabazz, whatever. I'm going to stop wittering on and let you guys get away. So until tomorrow, guys, you take care of yourselves, and until then, I'll see you later. So till then, if I can say it even one more time, see you guys. Bye-bye.